I know. Thank you. Excellent observation. All right. I host, thank you, Les, for coming. Thank you. Boker Tov, everybody, and good morning. I'm so delighted that you're all here. This is our third annual Israel Conference here in Los Angeles. Thank you very, very much. I'm so delighted you're here. We're thrilled that we're able to bring Israel business local by bringing it right here into the second largest city in the United States, and we bring the most important country in the world right here to Los Angeles. The Israel Conference, as you know, is born out of the idea that we want to familiarize the business community even more intimately with each and every company that has a relationship to Israel, be they a publicly traded company, an emerging growth company, or an early stage company, and you're going to see them all here today. We're extremely excited because we are able to find some of the most rock star firms with the most interesting CEOs, and they come together here today. We have over 60 companies, 60 companies being represented here, and you're going to meet them all throughout the day. But to get our day started off just right, we want to know, where do all these companies come from and where are they going? Why are they there? So we're fortunate to have today the representative for the State of Israel right here with us, and I'd like to introduce you to Jacob Dion, the Consul General for the State of Israel.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Sharona. This is really amazing. I remember the first conference in which no one believed that it's going to be big, and it's getting bigger every year. And it's really wonderful, a wonderful sight for someone who represents the State of Israel. And I think that Sharona represents the added value of this place to the State of Israel, because it's not only about business here, but it's also about the community. It's not only the second largest city in the United States, but it has also the second largest Jewish community in the world, and this community is also interested not only in the business, and they know what kind of high tech exists in Israel, but they are interested also in the State of Israel, and they want to promote Israel in every aspect, especially in high tech. And I think it's not by coincidence that already 1,500 companies from California are enjoying the benefit of doing business in Israel. 1,500 companies in California. And it's getting bigger and bigger. This year, in 2010, California has exported to Israel almost $2 billion with all the economic meltdown and everything. And this is really going amazingly well. And what I highly recommend to all of you is, beside the fact that you enjoy the networking and the fact that California is a wonderful destiny, also think about the states that are surrounding this place, like Colorado and Utah and Nevada and places like that that are really interested in doing business in Israel. We'll have few governors now coming to Israel in order to see where they can work with Israel on high-tech, water issues, and green energies, and all kinds of things like that. So use this added value that this place offers you, and this is this amazing supportive community that you'll see throughout the day. So thank you, Sharona, for bringing everyone here. Thank you to my good friend Yossi Vardy, who is so committed to the Israeli high-tech, and enjoy the day. Hi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. To our Consul General, representing the State of Israel, we're thrilled. Thank you very much, Jacob. We're going to launch into the conference today with all of you. You can see almost every seat is filled here, but as the day progresses, you're going to see just as many people vying for your seat and just as many people outside. We're very delighted that over 600 people have registered so far for the third annual Israel Conference. And every single one of the people that are here, all of you, are all interested in the business of Israel. And that's what makes this conference unique and different. We, as you know, we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about social issues, we leave that for the newspapers and other very important conferences, but this conference, we talk about business, and you're here to learn about those companies so that you can get directly involved with them. I want to thank, first of all, some of our sponsors as we go through this. We have V-Cube, who is wonderfully helping us with taping this so that you can see it later on our website. Our website is theisraelconference.org, but for those of you who have mobile phones, and you know Israel is a top leader in mobile, you can put that into your phone, theisraelconference.org, and up will come theisraelconference.org, provided by Duda Mobile, an Israeli firm that will be presenting today. We have a tremendous schedule, and this is what the Duda Mobile site looks like, and you'll enjoy it. We have a packed day. Every 5 minutes or so, somebody else is going to be speaking. We have outside a wonderful pavilion. We'll be introducing them to you shortly. And we have Fast and Cool and panels. In our group of folks, no conference comes together without a whole host of people coming forward and providing ideas. I can't thank enough of you, and you know who you are, who have sent us suggestions of companies that must be here, and we spend a lot of time getting to know those companies to bring them to you so that you can become good friends with the CEOs of these companies, as well as all of our speakers are chief executives of the firms that they represent. And the firms are publicly traded, emerging growth, middle market, and early stage. Each of them has amazing stories, and we are not just about technology, as you know. Although Israel is well known in the business community for technology, we also try to show the whole panoply of industries. And why? Because in Los Angeles, we have all industries represented, from high-tech, entertainment technology, clean tech, industry, and commercial consumer products. And thus, we're bringing all those from Israel here as well. And you'll see a taste of Israel, some beautiful food. You'll see products that you can buy in stores, spend your shekels wisely. And you'll see the most amazing technology companies that are market-changing. And you'll see them all today. We're creating a happening here with the Israel Conference. What we're doing is creating a wave of knowledge and involvement. Your takeaway as the audience members is to be able to talk amongst your colleagues and friends over lunch, over dinner, over social occasions about the companies you've seen here today, and extend the brand of Israel means business, so that we together can communicate how extraordinarily Israel is changing the world by bringing new, inventive, and innovative ideas that are market-changing and opening new vistas for revenue, employment, job growth, and strategic alliances amongst companies that can be found anywhere in the world. Here at the conference, we talk about what is. No philosophy, just the real deal on companies, and you'll see that. I'd like to mention that I forgot to mention, I'm Sharona Justman. I'm one of the co-founders of the conference. Alongside with me is Yossi Vardy. For those of you, how many of you have heard of the name Yossi Vardy? Okay, all of you, so you all know he's considered the godfather of high tech in Israel, and we're very proud that this too is his conference here on the other side of the world. Co-moderating today are members of the advisory board. We have Jeff Pulver, who you'll meet in a moment, and Isabel Maxwell. By the way, everyone's bio is in your brochure, and you can read all about them there. I'd like to quickly mention, though, that in the organizing team, we have some great people. We'll be introducing them throughout the day. People like Iran Wagner, partner at Gemini, Glenn Yago of the Milken Institute, Brian Sagi, a great businessman out of the Technion, an aviator, knows everybody, Jason Nazar of DocStock, Randy Ditzler at Sequoia. We have a huge representation. But none of this could happen without the great support team that stands behind the advisory board. And the great support team is in your book of all their names, but one in particular, who is a gentleman that works with me, that I want to let you all know that this conference is truly a partnership with his acumen, and his name is Pierre Fachet. He's in the back, and he's doing a lot of technical stuff, but he's the brains behind much of what we do. So thank you, Pierre. We're bringing together today outstanding business leaders, and we're going to hear today from all 60, starting with a panel on fast and cool. And I want to bring up right now Jeff Pulver to talk to us a little bit about our first fast and cool. And as he comes up, what fast and cool means is a company that's fabulous, that you have to know about, but you're only going to get 5 minutes of knowledge about the company. And with that, Jeff Pulver, thank you.
So hopefully Ori will come forward in a moment or so. So this is, well, welcome to this conference, and I really give Shroner a round of applause for all her work. Come on. She's pretty low-key and modest about what she really does, because she is the heart and soul of a lot of this stuff, and lives and breathes this all the time. So fast and cool. So the first company up is a company called Ray V. I happen to know the person who is going to be presenting for a very long time. I'm actually an investor in the company, too. These guys have started out to totally, what I look at is disrupt the TV industry, and they've actually become core technology. It's being used by some very major big players around the world, and they've found ways to take the viewing experience and deliver it through mobile networks using technologies which they've created that are game changers. So give it up to Ori, who 5 minutes, and glad to have you up here.
Do you know if this works? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So guys, Sharona, Yossi, thanks very much for having me here. I'm, as always, excited. Small confession, I'm specifically excited today because I have my wife in the audience. Look around for the most beautiful person you can see, and that's her. Well, the truth is it's our anniversary this week as well. So thank you for 7 wonderful years, and I'm looking for the next 70 ones. So now let's talk about my second wife, Ray V, and go through the presentation itself. I won't bore you with long slides and so forth. I'll just try and explain a little bit about how we see the market. And when you look at TV, really there's 4 components that need to happen in order to actually broadcast something to your TV. First of all, you have to have a service provider, so DirecTV, Comcast, and so forth. Second one is there must be some kind of infrastructure. You know, in the US, there's about 40 million people connected to cable, another 40 million that watch TV over satellite. Then a certain appliance that connects this infrastructure with your TV. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately for some of us, this world is very much changing, and the open internet has come in. I'm trying to make this work. And even the big guys are are involved in schemes called TV Everywhere, and are starting to use the open internet itself to broadcast TV to different devices. One big change, if you look at PCs, at mobiles, and so forth, they don't need an appliance anymore. So the open internet is there. They connect to the open internet. They see their video. The second thing that has happened, which is also very interesting, and again, I'm trying to make those work. Do I need to point over you, or? Okay, great. Is that there's a new kind of appliance, okay? An interesting number. There's about 40 million game consoles only in the US. About 33 million of them are connected to the internet. So if you think of it, right, it's really a new set-up box. It's connected to the internet, which is a good infrastructure to deliver video. And from the other side, it's connected to TV. Look at Netflix. You know, the inflection point of Netflix is really when they release a PS3 player. So totally new, I would say, change of paradigm. You have new kinds of service providers, the Netflix, the Amazons of the world, and so forth, that use the internet as the integration part and don't need satellite or cable to actually broadcast TV. So if everything is okay, what's the big problem, right? So here are the 2 things that we need to take into consideration. If you look from an infrastructure perspective, the traditional guys, let's call them for a second, invested billions of dollars in putting together cable and satellite. New guys, they just do streaming over the open internet. That's tens of millions of dollars, right? The other thing is, one, on the appliance side, you should check that because that's not really working well. So can you just, yeah, thanks. So, to deploy set-top boxes, you need a truck roll, you need a lot of support, and that thing, costs a lot of money. On the internet, you just go to Best Buy, you buy this wire, you buy a box to your Roku, you connect it, and it works. So that has changed the business model as well. From, can you click on it, please? Okay, from a $40 to $80 sub, and we were all, I think last year we were here on a panel with DirecTV, and the question is, when am I going to stop paying those $80? You go into a model of a $10 a month. Netflix $8, Amazon. Everybody's coming up with an $8 to $10 business model a month. So the question is, why is that bad, or what's the problem? Well, there's one major problem, and that's where Ray V comes into play, is that the internet is not really ready for this kind of traffic. One small statistic, Netflix alone, which has about probably 1 million to 2 million people streaming at peak times, creates over 20 to 30% of the total traffic at peak time. So that's 1 or 2 million people creating 20 to 30% of the traffic. The internet is just not ready for that kind of level of congestion. So Ray V, to finalize, basically we've developed a first, that's 1 minute? Okay. We've developed the first global network to actually deliver HDTV over the open internet. We have over 200 live channels to 5 million people around the world. You can see some of the people that we work with. I think about over 30 points of presence. We really deliver, we allow people to deliver video over the open internet. One more slide, please. That's it. We're happy to launch 2 new products here. One is Ravy Mobile. So we've taken part of our network and we've created a network which is specifically dedicated for HDTV to mobile networks. You're welcome outside to view it on the pavilion. And the second one, we've done a couple of strong relationships or strong partnerships. One is with LG. So in the next generation of the LG connected TVs, you'll have a Ravy app. You'll be able to go to the App Store and just, see a channel a la carte. I think it's a very innovative approach. And the second one is with an Israeli company called Conduit. They have over 250 million people around the world using their software. We're going to start distributing TV to them as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to approach Mitch and the team. They're out at the pavilion. We'd love to take your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so I do hope you check out Ravy. What Ori didn't tell you is that what they've been solving is something which is, he makes very simple, but it's very hard technology to ever take, because the thing with the television, everyone knows what the experience is. And to be able to take something you're used to, deliver it seamlessly over the internet is really, really hard. So the reason I'm involved here at the conference is I keep on running into innovative, great people with ideas. And what it's fun is to see people take an idea from inception and turn it into product and deliver it. It's a wow. So I'm truly in awe of these guys, but there's all day long you're going to see wonderful companies started by someone who's made it all happen. And I really applaud Sharona for being the curator to figure this out. Sharona, come back up. And you have a parade of companies to do, right? All right.
As we bring up various people, I want to mention that throughout the day, you are all Twittering, I'm sure, and you are probably on Facebook and friending people, and many of you have gotten messages from LinkedIn, and I encourage you to join the LinkedIn group for the Israel conference so that you can be in touch all year long. I encourage you to get onto our Facebook page so that you can be part of our friends group, and I highly encourage you to be Twittering throughout the day. Why? Because you never know who's listening, and we live in a very broad world. We're going to be here, all of us, through 7 o'clock, at which time we have the great music of Yoni Bloch, who's a rock star out of Israel. He was also a technologist, and you're going to hear from him today. And we're going to have a great party later on this evening. And for those of you who can stay throughout the day, be here. You're going to have your ears go into an amazement zone. We'll also have the famous flautist Hefzibah, who will be giving you beautiful music later on this evening. And all of that will be accompanied by wines and cheeses out of Israel, courtesy of Carmel Winery, the oldest winery in Israel that you'll learn about a little later, and cheeses from Tenuva, which is a multi-country company, and you can buy their cheeses in almost every store, as well as crackers from Osam, which is also a multinational firm out of Israel. So you'll be eating, you'll be schmoozing, and you'll be listening to the music later on this evening. And therefore, Twitter, those of you who do that, tell your friends to come by this afternoon and stay through the evening with you as you learn more about those. In addition, we have something very fun going on today, and you'll see it a little bit later. We have prizes that you can win. For those of you who registered online, we have a game going on with Ahava men's products that you can win. If you're in the room and your name is called, you will be the recipient of a beautiful gift pack of Ahava cosmetics. How many of you have bought or used Ahava previously? The majority of you, good. It's keeping you young and beautiful. Then we'll be giving away, if you're in the room and your name is called, a power mat, and you'll be learning all about power mat in a little bit. Power Mat allows you to get rid of those nasty cords to keep your cell phones and other devices running. And it's a fabulous device that you'll be finding being placed into GM cars very soon. And a third thing we're giving away, and all of these, by the way, are in our pavilion. A third thing is a SodaStream machine. How many of you have been into Bed Bath & Beyond and seen a SodaStream? A few of you? Well, quite a few of you will leave today with your very own SodaStream to make seltzer water and enjoy tremendously. These are all valuable prizes, each worth between $100 to $150 each, and we are very thankful to the companies, the CEOs of those companies, who have kindly brought their product for you to share in. But you have to be in the room when we call your name, and the prizes will be at 10:50 this morning, at 9:55, and also throughout the afternoon. In addition, you'll be able to buy a Seagull bicycle, which you're going to learn about at around 11 o'clock today. So stay tuned to learn about that, and be here this afternoon to be able to become the proud owner of that bicycle. In reverse order throughout the day, we have, prior to Yoni Bloch's music, we have David Renzer, the former chairman of Universal Music Publishing. He'll be speaking around 6 p.m. Prior to that, we'll be hearing from the former CNBC technology head, Jim Goldman. We'll be hearing at 4 o'clock from Chaim Saban with a fireside chat with Yossi Vardy, which you'll all want to be here for. Prior to that, we'll be listening right after lunch to John Miller, the Chief Digital Officer for News Corp. And prior to that, before lunch, we'll be hearing from Ranan Horowitz of Elbit, one of Israel's largest publicly traded corporations. So you're going to have your ears filled with special speakers in addition to Fast and Cools, just as we had with Ray V. We have also outside a fantastic group of folks. We have 18 companies in our pavilion, and I'd like to introduce the first 6. If the first 6 of the 18 companies will stand up, let me tell you a little bit about the pavilion. If you all rise. All rise. You're standing. So over here in this corner, we have, I'm just going to introduce the companies and their representatives, and I'm going to leave it to all of you during the breaks and throughout the day to go visit their stations outside in the pavilion with each of their signs. So we have Trendlines, a fantastic incubator represented by Todd Dollinger. We have VivoText, an awesome text-to-voice technology represented by Gershon Silbert. And do we have Marvell in this group? All right, we'll be bringing up a few more at the next pavilion introduction. And so a round of applause for our pavilion. You'll be meeting them all. And I'd like you to be sure to get to know them throughout the day. As we continue, we are going to be joined shortly by a really great panel. Now, the panel is dealing with mobile. Mobile, as you know, is the hottest area that we can enjoy. The purpose of getting to know mobile is because mobile is everywhere, and it's coming right out of Israel. And how many of you knew that Motorola commercialized the mobile phone with their campus in Israel? Are you familiar with that? A few of you are. That's great. So Israel is really quite an innovator when it comes to the mobile technology. And we are very delighted to know that we have some of the top people in mobile coming to talk to us today about trends that are taking place to allow your fingers to do the walking and to make your fingers zoom over phones. Not only will we hear from Nokia Siemens, but we have Dudo Mobile coming up, and that's, those of you who have cell phones, have you gone to the Israel conference? You can see the whole panel there. We have Marvell coming up. We have France Telecom joining us as well. And we have Page Once that will help you manage all of your finances all at once through your mobile phone. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the wonderful Amir from Nokia Siemens to take us through the panel on mobile communications. Thank
Do you hear me okay? No. You turn on the mics for all of us? All right. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Today, as we spoke about mobile, we're going to have a short panel about mobile trends happening today in the world. A lot of that innovation is coming from global and small companies that have some presence in Israel. And today we're going to cover some of those trends. Before we start, we do kind of a short introduction of the people here in the panel. So everybody will present himself and his company in a few words, and also their presence in Israel. Start from Guy, please.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Guy Goldstein. I'm the founder and CEO of Page Once. And Page Once today is the largest mobile personal finance in the US. We have over 4.5 million registered users who are using us in the US. We are top application across all the platform on the mobile, iPhone, Android, iPad, Windows Phone 7, BlackBerry. And what Page Once is doing is allow consumers to take control on their finance directly from the phone. So what we allow users is to view on the phone, in aggregate, all their financials, all their money, and all their bills in one central place. We show them the information from their bank accounts, credit card, investment. We show all the bills that are coming across all the different bills. And in essence, allow them to see how much money they have and how much money they need to pay. And all of this is coming real time in the palm of the hands. And what we are heading now is actually turning the mobile into the wallet of the future, which will enable users not only to view the information from the phone and get the data, but also to do all their payments directly from the phone.
Thank you. Itai?
Hello, everyone. My name is Itai Sedan, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Duda Mobile. And what we do is we make websites mobile. We have a platform that can take any website and create a mobile optimized version of that site. We have today over 80,000 mobile sites on our platform, and many of them belong to small businesses. As Sharona mentioned earlier, we built the mobile site for the conference. So if you go to the israelconference.com from your mobile phone, you will see one of our mobile optimized sites. So, yeah.
Thank you. Eric?
Thanks, Amir. Hi, my name is Eric Rashansky. I'm managing Marvell corporate development activities. Marvell is a public company, $4 billion in sales. Can I go now?
Okay, go ahead.
Around 6,000 employees, 1,200 of them are in Israel, enabling the mobile lifestyle. So if you have a BlackBerry phone, some other phones, all of them are based on Marvell technology. Almost every product that you have some sort of a Marvell component inside of it.
Thank you. Rosalie?
Yes, I'm from France Telecom. And in charge of innovation, especially in Israel. France Telecom is a carrier, an international carrier, with a presence in 32 countries and R&D all around the world. We have a big leg in San Francisco, and about mobile department, we have developer center. All developer can submit application and can join application shop. This is different of Apple and of Android, of content of other people, because we are global carrier. We can have application for everybody. iPhone is more difficult. And in Israel, especially, sorry, there is not photo of Israel. We have a developer center, and all Israeli developers can test application for free in this place.
Thank you. And also a few words about myself and my company. So my name is Amir from Nokia Siemens. Nokia Siemens Networks is a company created 4 years ago as a joint venture between Nokia and Siemens. So Nokia is still doing the phones, and Siemens is doing everything else in energy and healthcare. And Nokia Siemens is the networking company, so we are quite a large company, 72,000 people today, around 200 countries, so quite covering the globe. And the relevance for Israel, I joined Nokia Siemens through an acquisition of my previous startup. We basically have a center in Israel and now becomes the Nokia Siemens Israel site for the company. So today we're going to cover about mobile trends and what's happening in the market. And we start from the first thing about mobile platforms. So today we see a lot of mobile platforms happening in the world, starting from iPhone to Android, from BlackBerries to WebOS, from Palm and HP. We see a lot of trends coming and happening. We'd like to see what's going to happen, who's going to be creating the portals for them, who's going to basically the platforms that the developer is going to be attracted to develop on it. What's going to be the trends going to be the one going to develop, get the most traction from the users as well. So maybe Itai, you can share with us what is your perspective.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So I think today developers, when they come to develop an application, their main decision on which platform to develop on is based on two aspects. One is market penetration, and the second is revenue potential. So there's a lot of, there's different platforms out there, but there's two leading platforms in that sense, which is the iOS, the iPhone iOS, and the Android. A lot of other platforms are providing different features for developers, but as I said, the two aspects is who has actually the biggest audience. So the decision is much more marketing driven than technically driven.
Okay, thank you. Any other inputs?
I tend to agree. I would emphasize more the number of users and the penetration of the platform versus where you can make money. Because today it's easier to make money on iPhone, but down the road I'm sure it will be the same on iPhone and Android. There's no doubt that iPhone and Android are the bigger platforms. In the US, Android is the biggest. We're running on all the platforms, so I'll kind of give you an overview of how it looks. So in our perspective, Android is the biggest now, the biggest one. iPhone is number 2, iPad is number 3. Then there's BlackBerry, then there's Windows Phone 7. At least in the US, this is how we see it based on our customer acquisition.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the question is what need a developer and where are the developers? A lot of developers are in Israel and they need money, they need instruments for develop application. When you are a carrier, you have an integration of Android, Apple and other, absolutely, because you are a retailer of all this mobile. But you can have also a catalog with other applications. And for that, you need to go in country where are developers and propose them application place, event, and money. And the application shop have a share revenue model, business model, especially for developers, when the application is agreed for being in Orange Catalog Network. And Orange Catalog Network is in Romania, in France, in Great Britain, in Africa countries. The Israeli developer, I talk about Israeli developer because it's there is a country where there are most developers in the world, can put application in application shop, Orange Partner Connect, and after share revenue and be all over the world in our catalog.
Thank you. We'd like to move to consumer applications. All of us, the kids are downloading applications to their iPads and iPhones all the time. And most of the applications are for free, using Angry Birds, using Facebook clients, using other things. Where is really the money? Why the developers are going and creating those applications that at the end, majority of them for the consumer are getting for free? So maybe Guy, you can start.
So we see currently two main business models on the smartphones. One is advertisement that is just at the beginning, and the other one is more premium services that is very mature and working very well. On the advertising perspective, there's two kinds of ways to present ads. One is just banners on the phone, and there's a lot of networks that are delivering it today. And the other one is more for performance-based advertisement that, for instance, if you want to buy a ticket, only when you buy it, you get the money as an advertiser. And both of those businesses are just at the beginning. We see more and more institutions putting money into advertising in the phone. The conversions on the phone are much higher than on the internet, but all the companies are still in experimental mode, and they're putting some budget of their money into the mobile. I think this is going to be very big in the future. Right now, it's a mediocre business model. And the second one that is working very, very well is subscriptions or premium or in-app purchase. Consumers spend money on the phone way more easily than on the web. It's very easy to buy and pay money to get things. And there's different models between a premium application with specific feature that you pay one time, or a monthly subscription if it's a service that you use every month and users have recurring revenues, or in-app purchase, which is I'm getting a free application, but in order to get additional feature, I need to pay for him X dollars. These models today are working very, very well on the mobile, and if someone wants to get quick money, I would go.
You hear us okay? You okay with the microphone? We are a bit kind of echoing. Do you hear us okay? Okay. All right. Good for you, though. All right. Any other inputs?
Yeah, I think there's one interesting aspect. We do see with all of our customers talking to us, how can we create a very cheap, for example, Android phones? And all of them are looking at the opportunity to actually go and give those phones for free. Not to subsidize at all, just give them for free and make money out of services, if it's premium or not premium service. The market is still not there. You know, we're looking at a lot of emerging markets, and we're doing all this analysis with our customers. And I think the market is not there. It's going to take at least 1 or 2 years, but you have to get to a specific price point in order to enable that. But definitely we see when. Should we move to this one? Or?
Yeah, there's this one. They will shut it down.
Yeah, but definitely when we look today at the market, everybody are looking, hey, how many more dollars I can create on top of a consumer electronic device that I'm going to manufacture? And a lot of the brands, when they sell this device, they actually sell it at a loss. It's not on. Is it on, off? Hello? Can you hear this one?
No. Try you.
Put something.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this one? Can you hear me now? Oh, yeah. What we actually see with some of the OEMs we are working, they're actually subsidizing or selling the product at a loss today because they know they can compensate on that on some revenues that are coming from Netflix or from other services.
Okay. I hope this one is working.
Do you hear me or not?
Okay. You okay there with the voice? All right. So let's continue. The next topic, I think, is about mobile operators. Most of us here in the US subscribe to AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile. And we see the position of the operators very similar to what Ray V showed before about the cable operators. Also, the mobile operators have a problem. Many of the applications are consumed over the top. That means they're coming from Apple, coming from Android, or coming from BlackBerry. You okay? So the question is really, what's going to be the role of the mobile operator? Is it just going to provide connectivity, or is there also some other value added for the operator to come and provide some unique applications for himself? So maybe we start from Rosalind about the orange angle and then go to the other perspectives.
I think the best thing in the example, yeah, we organize a request for information, a request for technology in France Telecom, and for bringing the best technology. Nothing is free. A carrier pay for this technology, and the model is share revenue or nothing. It depends of customer, but a good application, with a good application, you can sell more mobile. Model is, we have in all France Telecom group, all around the world when it's possible, an application is named in Orange Map. It's a location system. It's Israeli company like Telmap. And we have a business. At the beginning, the model was very slow. And now, more than 1 billion customers use all around the world this kind of location system for a carrier. And now 2 French carriers use this application. This is what we need to know to have to understand the trend and to have general information, to have the best technology to organize events when it's possible in Israel, in the US, where are the good people, the right people, in the right moment. I think this is very important. And to bring them immediately in our app shop. This is very important to have a very fast business model for developers.
1, 2, do you hear me? 1. So the way we see carriers, at least in the US, the most important things that carriers can do for developers is marketing. And I know carriers are trying to do all kinds of features and developing all kinds of things. The pace that they're moving is today at least, slower than the market. Like Android and Google and Apple release new operating system every 6 months, and it takes for the carriers significantly long to even keep pace with what's happening with the phone and the operating systems, let alone to add features that are on top of this. But where they are very, very strong are in marketing and relation with their customers. And I think if carriers would take developers to market, choose kind of, these are the best applications that we want, these are the must-have on the phone, and promote the developers, then it will be way more valuable and ride on the wave and use the power of marketing versus the power of developing things.
Maybe also give an angle from my side. We're working with another 150 or 200 carriers around the globe. We see a couple of ways for them to become more relevant, both for developers and for the end users. On one hand, they have a lot of assets in the network that today are not really used by the developers, or the developers are very hard to get good solutions. Starting from the billing, going to the customer care, starting from the profiling of the users that the operators, I don't know how much you know, they know a lot about you, what you're doing, who you're calling, who you called the last year. A lot of information the operator have that can be leveraged for developers for application that can create a better services for the end users. So that's going to be one of the elements. The second element, as you mentioned, is of course about marketing and go-to-market. If I'm a developer for Apple or I'm a developer for Android, I need to compete for another 100,000 applications in that marketplace. If I'm going with specific operators or operators in specific countries, I'm one out of a few. So my go-to-market, the way for me to establish my presence is going to be much better with the right promotion and marketing of that operator in those countries. So those two elements, both the go-to-market as well as unique features or functions the operator can provide for those applications, create unique proposition that the operators can really bring to the market. Those are the angles we see, and Orange just described one angle, how they're doing that in their company, which is, by the way, our customers as well, and that also how to take that to the market. I just described that you also know. Any other comments on this? Okay. So let's move to the next topic. Let's focus about really the devices. Devices you're holding in your hands, the tablets, the iPhones, the Android-based phones. So there's a lot of new devices coming out. We all have, some of them in our pockets here. Most of us have smartphones here. Going to be a new wave of devices coming out. So maybe Iri from Marvell can share us what you see happening in the market, what are the new trends?
So I'll go back for a second. I think there is also, we're talking about the connected and the connected lifestyle. Related to mobile, automotive is becoming more and more interesting. You're going to see a lot of devices that are currently in the mobile market getting into automotive, allowing you to still be mobile while using in your car. But if you look at devices and if you're following Moore's law, you're going to see more and more integration allowing, first of all, higher speed, higher CPUs. Right now you can run on a single device, which is a single ARM-based device that have the equivalent of a PC computer from 4 or 5 years ago. Adding to that all the graphic capabilities, all GPS, wireless, if it's modem connectivity, creating a world phone from China to the US to Europe, adding wireless, you have everything in a very, very simple chip that eventually allows all the application providers to innovate on top of that because you give them all the capabilities. It can run for the entire day at a very low power. You have the abilities and integration to a GPS, to wireless, to multiple connectivity functions. You can do a lot more. You can play game. You have graphics. You can run multiple applications all together. And that's what's going to create a lot of innovation from the application side. It's a push and pull. We see a lot of the time, we see new applications that people are trying to create, but they don't have either the horsepower or the integration or the capabilities on the device itself. And after you introduce those capabilities from a hardware perspective and all the middleware around it together with integration with the OS, you can see a lot of innovation. Just think about today when you do a Facebook check-in. You open Facebook, you connect to the GPS, you connect wirelessly, you run multiple applications in the back. That's very, very complex. There is a lot of horsepower going behind. And you're going to see that shrinking more and more. One of the interesting aspects that you're going to take the same devices and the same cores and put them across multiple devices in your home. So it's not only mobile, it's going to be the same one for your tablet, and it's going to be very similar ecosystem. Maybe from a development point of view, you have to have some different attributes when you develop, but then you go into the connected TV, which I think that's the next big wave of what's going to happen, because you can take the same application, same capabilities. TVs are going to be connected wirelessly or wired or even wirelessly in some areas and give the same user interaction. If you use Microsoft Kinect or some other type of technologies of human interfaces, everything is going to change. Everything is going to be connected and somehow meshed. So what we're doing, we're actually making sure that we have the capabilities to allow the OEMs and the application developers to build those unique applications and innovate, and then drive it to the consumer hands.
Maybe another angle about mobile devices. When we all talk about mobile devices, we all think about iPhones, we think about tablet devices, but there's a whole new kind of area coming of mobile devices coming to the market, which is what we call machine-to-machine or Internet of Things. Those are smart sensors, that can put in the cars, in trucks, in the backpack of my kids, for location, for other types of sensors. And the estimation in the market that those are going to be probably times 10 the number of mobile devices going to be in the market, the next 2-3 things. That means from the network perspective, from the mobile services perspective, going to be a completely new domain which is going to have not just people holding devices, but devices which are going to be in different types of places, in our homes, in our cars, in our businesses. It's going to be much more than the one that we have currently today carrying on ourselves. So that's going to be kind of a very strong dimension coming to the market. We see that happening all over the world, starting to happen in different countries, mainly developing countries. Developed countries, but that's going to be a very big business that a lot of us investing in right now. Next topic about the mobile is about the enterprise. A lot of us, when you're talking about enterprise mobile, we think email. That's probably the number one application that when we think about mobile enterprise. But mobile enterprise is much more than just the email. There's a lot of things that other need to be done in the mobile for the enterprise to make all of us more